Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This evening I'm going to be doing another movie review, so hope you find this one interesting. This movie is an erotic drama slash thriller from France, French language English subs, released in the year 2017, directed by Francois Ozon, and this film is called Double Lover. So Double Lover is about a beautiful young woman. She works at a museum as a caretaker and she has a lot of psychological problems. So she's suffering from these terrible stomach aches and she believes that it's a manifestation of her paranoia and that her mind is actually thinking she's in pain, but in fact she's not. So she wants to see a psychiatrist to try and fix this problem, and straight away she gets a liking to this psychiatrist. He's a very charming man, and pretty soon the two of them strike up a relationship, a sexual relationship, and so they're living together and things seem to be going normally until one day when this woman is riding the bus to work. She looks out of the window and she sees what she believes is her partner with another woman on the street. So that following night she confronts him about it. He says, "Look, you're mistaken, it must have been someone that looked like me," but she's adamant what she saw is actually real. And so she's going to do a bit of investigating to try and get to the truth, but in order to get to the truth, she's going to have to put her psychological health on the line. That may have disastrous consequences, and so whether or not it does is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Double Lover. Francois Ozon is a very prolific and a very provocative filmmaker. So when you think of European provocative filmmakers, you think of Gaspar Noé, you think of Michael Haneke, and also Lars von Trier. So when you include Francois Ozon, that is a very prestigious group. And so Francois Ozon is known to make very sexually explicit films. And I was wondering, coming into Double Lover, was this going to be a sexually explicit movie in the vein of a pornographic film, which is there to shock an audience just for the sake of it, or was it going to play a very strong driving force in its storytelling? And so there was a level of intrigue to Double Lover. I saw the trailer and I thought, this looks very good, this looks very French noirish, and if it is French noir, I'm really going to enjoy it. And I will say, at the end of the day, Double Lover really impressed me because of the level of mystery that the film has and the way that it intelligently uses its sexuality. Now, the sexuality in this movie is incredibly explicit, and I think it really indicates the differences in attitudes between Europe and the United States, Britain and Australia. The attitudes towards sexuality and how insecure we are and how secure Europeans are. And the security and the sexuality comes through in their films. They're very, very explicit, but they're done in a way where it's basically not there just to shock an audience for the sake of it. You've got a lot of films from different corners of the world that show you very sexually explicit material, but it does border on pornography because it's there just to exist. It's there just to make a noise and actually get attention. But when you've got a film that uses the very sexually explicit material to its advantage, I think as though it's an indication that it's a director who really knows what he's doing. And so Double Lover is not only a very dark sort of thriller, but it's a movie about sexuality and the destructive nature of lust. And lust as the contrasting difference to romance and love. And so this very fascinating main character, who was played very well by the beautiful young actress, she is this woman that is unraveling, and she is torn between lust and love. And so whatever she sees on the street, which I'm not going to give away, that is ultimately where the lust starts coming into the film. And the more she goes down that path of lust, the more she starts to unravel, and the more the uncomfortable feeling starts to come about. And so the gratuitous sexuality that I believed was going to be present in this movie is non-existent, because there is a certain level of ugliness and there is a certain level of beauty to it. And so I thought that the inner struggle of this main character was absolutely fascinating, and it's the reason why I believe it was so suspenseful, but done in a very subtle and expertly way. This movie doesn't appear to be trying to have you on the edge of your seat, but you are. You're not quite sure why you are, but there is something that is dreaded. There is something that makes you feel very uneasy, and this is everything that French noir is about. When French noir filmmakers such as Dominique Moll, what they do so well is to create that on the edge of your experience through the cinematography, through the soundtrack, and in this case also through that sexually motivated sort of reason for this movie belonging. And so I thought, alright, well, this is a very, very intriguing inner struggle, and how is she actually going to come out of it? And so as the movie starts to progress, the plot starts to thicken and more characters start to come into the film. And I think I thought as though the psychiatrist, played very well by Jeremy Renier, he is a very charming guy, but there is something to that character that that expands and that makes that web of complexity that keeps you motivated to actually keep watching the film. And so there's a lot of material in this movie, and I think that Francois Ozon juggles it very, very well. And if you are a fan of European cinema, you're really going to get a taste for what Francois Ozon is all about. And if this is anything to go by, then his other movies are definitely something I need to check out very quickly. So I'm not quite sure why I didn't gravitate to Francois Ozon earlier, but after watching Double Lover, I just believe that this is an expert in storytelling and an expert in using very provocative material for a very strong purpose to create a film that I believe is far superior than others of a similar nature. And so you got acting, as I said, the acting was fantastic, cinematography very bleak, and this inner turmoil, the psychological sort of battle that this woman is facing, I just believe it carries it from start to finish. So if you aren't afraid to really test yourself as far as the limits of sexuality is concerned, and you're not offended by nudity and sex scenes, then I would definitely say go out there and see Double Lover, and as a result of that, I'm going to give this film 4 stars. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.